Welcome to AMC's The Walking Dead panel. I don't know about you guys, but I'm psyched to be here. So let's not waste any time and help you welcome to the stage the creative team behind the series, AMC's Senior Vice President of Original Programming, Production, and Digital Content, Joel Stillerman. Makeup and Special Effects Guru, Greg Nicotera. Next guy, he's the creator of the comic book series, Robert Kirkman. Next we've got executive producer, Gail Ann Hurd. And last but not least, the producer, director, writer, Frank Derrida. Well, Gail, I'm gonna toss you the first question because it's no secret that you've done a lot of comic book adaptations out there. So I'm just curious, kind of how you found The Walking Dead and what appealed to you about it.
I think, like most of us here, The Walking Dead found us. If you're a zombie fan, look no further than The Walking Dead. What Robert Kirkman created is one of the seminal continuing series of our time. As you may know, it's already up. It's up this year for an Eisner for Best Continuing series. So you go for the best. So we felt, Frank and I felt really honored to be able to collaborate with Robert and to keep him as involved as possible in the series. In fact, the episode that we're shooting right now, 104, Robert wrote.
Now, Frank, we also know you from your film work as well. I'm curious, what appealed to you about doing this as a TV series?
Well, the simple answer is, having walked into House of Mysteries in Burbank and seen this first trade, being the zombie nut that I am, going back to seeing Night of the Living Dead, and yes, thank you. That's George out there. Of course, I snatched it off the shelf, took it home, read it, and it was really the venue to tell a zombie story that I've been looking for. So many zombie movies have been made very well. I really had not seen the point of trying to figure that out. But Robert had done something that was going to be an expanded saga following a group of people, very character-driven stuff, which is the stuff I dig the most. It's sort of right up my alley. I loved the idea of doing something a little bold for television that reaches back into the genre that I love, but is a very, very character-based thing, and that's what Robert did that really turned me on. So I right away started concocting this thing in my head. That was what, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, something.
Lost track.
Yeah, me too. It's a long journey.
It all worked out in the end, that's all that's important.
It's because the zombies move slowly.
So Joel, I understand that this series is going to be part of a big kind of fear fest that you guys are doing, correct? You've done it every year?
That's correct. This is year 14, for those of you keeping track.
And then it's also getting a pretty huge release as well, right?
It is. It's actually kind of unprecedented and exciting news. We're in partnership with Fox on the global launch of The Walking Dead, and it's going to launch in 250 million households, 120 countries, and over 30 languages, almost simultaneously in October. So in other words, no matter Yeah, I think the world will know The Walking Dead is out there come October.
All right.
Yeah, no pressure there, huh?
Yeah.
Every language, including Swahili, apparently.
Now, Robert, I was going to ask you how involved you've been with the project, but obviously you're writing an episode, so I assume the answer to that is very.
Very involved. Next question.
I have one. So, ultimately, the images that I've seen are awesome because it looks like they're ripped right out of the comic book panels, you know? How's it feel to see your work finally kind of translated?
Working on The Walking Dead, I never really expected it to be adapted at all. I mean, I didn't really want to do a movie for obvious reasons. You can't do the zombie movie that never ends as a movie because that doesn't make any sense. And as far as television goes, I mean, it always seemed like a tough sell, zombies on TV. But to see it happen, and to see it happen in such a great way with so many excellent people involved, like these guys over here and these guys over here, and to see AMC really get behind it and commit to making a zombie show and doing everything right and pushing the limits as far as what they're going to be showing, which you guys will all see momentarily. It's remarkable. You hear horror stories about adaptations, and every step of the way, along the way, everything has been perfect, and it's really bizarre. I mean, I feel blessed, I guess. I'll say that.
Now, Greg, let's talk about the zombie makeup. What are you doing in that? We've seen a lot of zombies out there. We've seen a lot of zombies out there, and different films and whatnot. So what are you doing that's different with Walking Dead?
Well, Frank and I have been talking about this for 2 or 3 years as well, and just in terms of doing something different. And we really did, we tried to pull visuals directly from the graphic novel as well. The way that the zombies are drawn, it's really specific, that the flesh is shrunken away from the lips. You always see teeth, you always see kind of, the straggly hair and screwed up eyes and stuff like that. So, we really used that as our gauge. We had a zombie school in Atlanta, and we spent 3 days auditioning people. One thing George Romero always said to me back when I worked on Day of the Dead was, if you ever show a group of people how to perform as a zombie, you'll have 50 people doing the exact same thing. So what we did was we lined everybody up against the wall, and then we said, okay, action, and start walking. And we had one guy who didn't move, and one girl who walked out of the room, and a bunch of others, they just did what they wanted. So we sort of picked the faces, and Frank gave me a lot of responsibility in terms of saying, these guys would be great as featured zombies because of the way that they looked, and then we would sort of augment it with prosthetics. But we really went with really thin people because in the graphic novel they're all sort of emaciated looking. They haven't eaten. I mean, these zombies are basically starving, so when the idea of food shows up, they become pretty ravenous. So, we've really done some fantastic things that I've been really excited about.
Okay, interject to give some credit to the artists on the book, Charlie Adler and Tony Wood.
Charlie was on set. Are we allowed to say? Are we allowed to tell them?
I think I'd have to ask you if we could, so you can just decide now.
Can we tell them?
Tell them what, that Robert and Charlie are anything?
Yeah, Charlie Adler actually got to be a zombie on set, so you guys can just leave him on the show. I decided it was too sticky, and so I didn't partake.
Plus, you didn't want to shave, so.
So, Gail, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about the 6 episodes. It's being treated more like a 6-hour movie than 6 independent TV episodes. Would you say that's a fair assessment, or?
Well, when you consider the talent that we've got on board with Frank supervising every aspect of the writing, along with Robert in the writer's room. We had Greg Melton as our production designer, Greg Nicotero creating our zombies, terrific people in the cast as well. We're really, you hear every TV series says, oh yeah, really, we're doing 6 one-hour movies. We really are doing 6 one-hour movies. When you've got hundreds of zombies, when you have, a cast of what feels like thousands, but is really a terrific ensemble cast, just like Robert and Tony and Charlie created in the comic book. You know, you don't feel like this is small. This is big, and it delivers on the dramatic level as well, which to me is the benefit of doing television. Is that at times you have to cut back in character and story. In movies and in television, you get to delve very deeply into the characters.
Now, Frank, this is an adaptation, obviously. So, you know, I guess I've got to ask, how, you know, will you follow the arc of the comic book series? Are you going to take it in your own direction at all?
Yes, and yes. I've always said that I think the template, the path, the breadcrumbs left by Mr. Kirkman are extremely good ones. The path is a very, very strong template. But I've also said, and Robert's been great about this, and in fact has encouraged it, to take every interesting detour we feel like taking. You know, as long as in the long term we're still following what Robert has done, I don't see why we shouldn't bring every other good idea to the table. And expand the narrative, you know, veer off the path as long as we go veer back onto it. And what that's leading to is a lot of really cool ideas that will surprise, I think, the hardcore fans of the comic who really know like every page of this thing. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen they're not going to see coming, which I think is really cool. And yet, the stuff they do know will be there too. You know, if they have patience, we'll eventually catch up to what Robert's been doing. And that's kind of an exciting thing because we're not locked slavishly into a thing that is familiar to the fan base. They'll get that, but they're going to get a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, that was very important to me just because I know a lot of you guys read the comic, and I don't want anyone who's read the comic to be watching the show and going, oh, I know exactly what's going to come next. And I want the comic and the show to exist separately and be just as compelling and have as many surprises as possible. And thankfully, Frank and all the people in the writer's room are doing such a great job taking all the good parts of the comic and expanding them and making them better and adding new things. So I think you guys are all going to be blown away. I really do.
I've got to give you a big compliment because I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad, Mad Men. So AMC is known for the edgy programming, clearly. So how do you see Walking Dead kind of fitting into your programming block with your other shows?
Well, I think it fits in first and foremost because it is phenomenal storytelling, which is what drew us to the material in the first place, the world that Robert has created and the way that he kind of paid such tremendous service to the genre and to the human drama of it all is, makes it very much a quintessential AMC show. From a programming point of view, there's another layer of, that it meshes with AMC, which is that it's launching in Fear Fest, which we talked about. And that's a first for us to launch an original out of one of our existing movie platforms, which is just an incredibly exciting opportunity. So, thrilled to have it.
Was there ever a what the hell are you thinking moment? Zombies on TV? I mean, we've never seen this before.
Not until right now. It hadn't occurred to me. No, we
what the hell were you thinking?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you about a good day as a network executive. It's when a piece of material like this walks into your office with Frank Darabont and Gail Ann Hurd attached to it, and they tell you that they're going to staff it up with all the people that have made such wonderful movies, and it's a short, really hop from there to yes. So I'd love to say it was a tough decision, but we were hooked from the beginning. You had to say hello, Frank.
So Frank, I understand you have an announcement to make about the composer of the series.
Yeah, let's hear it for our new composer, Bear McCreary.
Breaking news.
Been wanting to work with Bear ever since I heard the first work he did on Battlestar, which is still blows my mind. We're really, really thrilled to have him. Thank you, Bear. And
Wait, Frank, when it came to casting the film, how'd you go about finding the right people for the roles?
begged, pleaded, and groveled for the best actors we could possibly get, and it worked. There were certain actors I knew going in that I just had, I have this weird, people I've worked with before thing going on that I love to bring, if the role is appropriate, if they're the perfect thing for that role, vice versa. I love to bring in people like Jeffrey DeMunn, Laurie Holden, people I've worked with before that I know are just amazing, and I'm really going to bring something to it. And then we went through the normal casting process, which was quite a journey finding the folks that we brought onto this thing. And I myself am in awe of the cast that we have. I'm in awe of the work that they're doing. I'm not just being polite. This is an amazing group of people. So we're very lucky.
What do you think, guys? Should we bring them on? All right, well, welcome to the stage, Andrew Lincoln, Sarah Wayne Cowley, John Bernthal, Laurie Holden, and Emma Ballard. Welcome to Comic-Con, guys. So, first off, for the entire cast, if you wouldn't mind, we'll just go down the line, and why don't you tell us who you're playing in the series and a little bit about your character.
Hi, my name's Andrew Lincoln, and I play Rick Grimes. I'm the one with the funny voice, right? Yeah. Rick is, as you all know, a sheriff's deputy, and he works in a rural district of Georgia. He's married to Laurie, and he has a son called Carl. He's a decent, honorable man, and he gets shot and wakes up in a zombie apocalypse, as you do. And he, throughout the course of it feels like a movie that we shoot, and I think we probably are. He gets eroded, and it's one of the most exciting characters to play because of that. Morally, he changes, and I'll leave it there.
What's with the fake British accent? I've never heard him talk like this.
So pretentious, I'm so sorry.
Right, I'm not talking into a mic. Sorry about that.
It begins.
I don't know about you guys, I'm actually still coming down from that. I'm shaking. That's the first any of us have seen. I'm breathing deeply. I'm Sarah Wayne Cowley, and I play Laura Grimes. It's that amazing. I gotta tell you. Laurie is Rick's wife and Carl's mom, and those are probably the two most significant things that she would say about herself. And I think she's a woman who, as these two work to protect the bodies of the survivors, I think she's trying to protect their humanity, if that's not too silly to say. I mean, I think she's somebody who's really trying to make sure that just being alive isn't what we're doing, and that we retain some sense of who it is that we want to be, and our rituals of being human, and our hearts, even when those hearts are so utterly walled in by fear that they're hard to access.
Hi, I'm John Bernthal. I play Shane Walsh. Shane is Rick's best friend and is his partner, and he
he does everything he possibly can to honor his best friend and keep his.
I think they've read the comic book.
There's a really good explanation for it.
You'll lead with an explanation.
I'm really excited to be here, but seriously, this is amazing, and I can't believe how many of you there are, and we are really trying to get this right for all of you. And if it's half as good as it feels, we're doing it. And thank you so much.
I'm Laurie Holden. I play Andrea. Andrea is a lawyer from Florida that went on a road trip with her baby sister, Amy, played by Emma Bell, who I love and adore. And she's on this road trip. The apocalypse happened, and she's basically just trying to keep it together and take care of her sister, who's her heart. And that's about it. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Hi, as you mentioned, I'm Emma Bell and I play Amy. I am the younger sister of Andrea, and I got caught up in this zombie apocalypse going back to college, and now I'm at this camp, and I really don't know what is happening most of the time. This is my first time at Comic-Con, and I'm kind of scared to look out at you all, because there's a lot of you. But I'm very excited to be here, and I'm really excited to be playing Amy.
Great. We have one more person, right, in the audience?
Yes, we do. Just announced today, I believe, with their 2 additions to our cast, and one is Norman Reedus, who is back in Atlanta. And here with us today is Michael Rooker, right here.
So for the cast, I wanted to ask you guys, were you familiar at all with the comic book before taking on the roles? Have you researched your characters since being signed on and shooting?
I think I should probably start. I wasn't aware of the comic book at all. There's some sides came through by my agent, and I read them, and I was really intrigued. Put myself on tape, and then the script came through, and I saw the list of people attached, and it blew my mind. So I went to my local comic store in London, Camden. Yeah, you won't know it. They've all been there, yeah. And I said, what's the deal with this, The Walking Dead? And he said, come this way, and showed me a wall of comic books. And he said, it's the single greatest and most successful comic book we've got. And I said, right, I want on this. And yeah, it just, I started reading it, and it's extraordinary. The world that Robert's written about, the characters are so beautifully drawn, and the script that Frank had written was beautiful, and and I think also I just had a baby boy, and I probably looked like I was a zombie, so I had to sleep for 4 days, and that's probably how I got the gig, really. So
all of that usually in my garage.
Yeah.
In a jet.
I came all the way to Hollywood, and I was really excited, and I ended up in Frank's garage doing the scene with John, and it was amazing. And Boss the dog, his dog, yeah. But I just, you know, it's been, as John said, this is wild. We're still midway through episode 4, and just to see this and to realize who we're doing it for, and the loyalty and the devotion that you guys show to this comic book is mind-blowing, and it is a real privilege and honor to be here and to work with such esteemed people as Gail and Frank and AMC. So yeah, this is the golden ticket I've got.
Greg, before this, I'm sorry, not this again.
You need at least one.
Fair enough. But before this, I'd actually never read a comic book and I'd never seen a horror movie. I'm a card carrying chicken, and Greg Nicotero has ruined my life. I'm not kidding. I haven't really, you know, my part of this show has been less, until recently, less of a zombie show and more of a show about family and community and communication and breakdown and surviving. And so in the last week, I've been going home trying to get out of my head what this show has put in.
She met the zombies.
You guys, I'm not kidding. I woke up this morning like this, like shaking, fists balled, eyes squeezed shut, coming out of a nightmare. This show may, yeah, Greg Nicotero is ruined my life.
I think I get Frank Neighbor sometimes too.
We need going.
So, I also heard that you guys are shooting in Atlanta, and it's something like 110 degrees and humid at night.
110. Try 152. I'm not kidding. On the roof,
How much?
152 degrees.
I don't doubt that. The heat gets kicked up off the surface of that roof. Jesus, if you watch this show, just bear one thing in mind. I lost 15 pounds. It's actually a great diet. Go direct the movie for 15 days, and you'll be 15 pounds. A pound a day, sweated right off. Everybody has just been our asses have been kicked by this heat, and theirs more so than mine because they're there all the time. It is the AMC diet.
Well, how are you guys?
Available on our website. Available on our website.
So how are you guys adapting to the heat? What are you doing to deal with it? The action and the...
Well, I would soak cold towels in ice water and sea breeze. I would soak these towels in ice water and put ice cold towel. I'd wear towels on my head on the set to keep from passing out. Because this is taking nothing away from what you guys have been going through, but they get to stand, under an umbrella in between takes. I'm running around like a lunatic on a road out there going, no, you got to shoot the guy from here. So I'm like, there were moments where I thought I was going to go over. The towels saved me.
Well, and we shot till 5:30 in the morning yesterday, and then the cast and I got on a plane and flew here. And the first thing that Andy and John and I did was run and jump in the ocean, which was freezing cold, but we just kept thinking, remember how hot it is in Atlanta? Oh, we didn't care. So that was the greatest thing.
Greg, I'm sure there's only so much you can do, but do you take the heat into account with the prosthetics that get applied?
Sure. I mean, there's always constant touch-up, and, with the zombie prosthetics, and it's always funny because at lunchtime, the cast is sitting on one side of the room, and the zombies are sitting on the other side of the room eating. Nobody ever wants to eat with the zombies. Every once in a while, you'll have the zombie will sit down with his plate of food and go, hey, how's it going? And everyone will get up and leave. Guys just sitting there like, well, what the... But I mean, it's pretty constant. And, with the contact lenses and the dentures and everything, it's tricky. And especially when people get hot, they tend to want to do this. So my team and I are literally running through the streets, making sure that everybody's touched up constantly. And it's definitely challenging because on a schedule that we have, there's no time to stop. We're running and gunning all the time. There's always 3 cameras shooting. So even if we're shooting a close-up of Andrew and then a wider shot of Andrew on the horse and then an even wider shot with zombies in the street, somewhere along the line, you got to know what every single camera is doing at every time because you never know when it's going to pan over and catch something here or there. So you're literally like constantly on alert. And same with all the actors too. You know, there's so many cameras going, and it's, you know, catching all the action. We have a big ensemble cast. You know, you're trying to catch a lot of things happening at one time, which makes it feel real. It makes you feel like you're part of the team.
We're gonna start an audience Q&A here in a second, so if you guys want to start lining up, feel free. But before that, I did want to ask. Andrew and John. So there's an interesting character dynamic, I should say, between your two characters in the comic book, obviously. So can you talk a little bit about that and kind of how you're going about bringing it, you know, to the screen?
You know, we have the great privilege you'll see a little bit as I think I'm allowed to say, since you saw the clip, you'll see a little bit of our relationship and our life before the apocalypse hits, which gives us a wonderful opportunity. You know, I gotta say, as I'm sure you all saw from that clip, Andrew Lincoln is a wonderful actor, and he. I know everybody says stuff like this, and they go home, they're like jealous of each other and hate him. That's not how it is here. He is an even better human being. He is a wonderful, wonderful man to be leading us here, and he brings his humanity to the set. And whatever conflict we have to play in the story, it's going to be really difficult because I genuinely, I love this guy, and I think. Conveniently for Shane, I think at the bottom line is that he loves him, and and they're best friends, and that's really what it's all about. I think geniusly part of this series, everybody is sort of operating from a place of they're very justified. They feel very justified in what they're going for. There's no clear good or bad, and I don't know. That's how I feel about Andy. I don't quite know what to respond there, but I feel, you know, apart from ditto, but it really is. I kind of think I only got the job because of John and his dog, really. I was so freaked out that we were actually going to Frank's garage. And I was a gibbering wreck. I just got off the plane, and it was a great honour to work and read with John. And I think John is Shane, and he's one of the greatest actors I've worked. And it sounds trite and to say this to you, but I love every single person around this table and in front and behind the camera, and we're having the time of our lives, and it's a privilege just to be in the same scene as these guys. And John and I came out early to Atlanta to soak up the heat. I mean, I think you call it acclimate. Very strange. Acclimatise, we call it back home. And and we spent 2 weeks, and we just hung out together. And I thought that was so important to the dynamic, I think, between Rick and Shane, is that, you know, we did everything together. We've become a couple of goofballs. You know, we call ourselves the Keystone Cops. You know, we got lost together in Atlanta. I mean, but I love it, and I love him, and we've got a heck of a journey to go in this brilliant graphic novel and script, and it's gonna be an honor to do it with these guys.
Sarah, you might want to turn away. We've got some company here. I don't know if you guys see the roaming the hallways here.
God, here they come again.
Here they come.
Zombie apocalypse.
So why don't we open it up to the questions here from the audience? We've got our first question. Wendy, go ahead.
It's a little nerve-wracking being up here to ask a question, but I want to first acknowledge the panel. It's a great team of people. I'm really excited for the show. I've been a fan of the comic book since it came out. I'm a fan of a lot of people's work up there, respectively Sarah with Prison Break, Andrew with Love Actually, which I'm this way. and obviously my favorite up there is Greg Nicotero. I'm a local 706 guy out here in LA, so I just wanted to ask, how come you guys chose Georgia? What was the reason for Georgia and not Los Angeles? Because Los Angeles really needs the jobs, and our entertainment industry needs the work. Sorry, audience, but some of us have to make a living too.
Well, I didn't choose Georgia.
No, Greg, I know you did.
That was my question.
The creative night. I was just acknowledging you for KMB, obviously.
Thank you.
Oh, is that a question for me?
It's just a question in general for any of the creative team. Why was Georgia not?
It was written for Georgia and Atlanta, specifically by Robert. B, the locations there worked out so brilliantly for us. And C, if California ever gets its shit together to offer a tax break. It's hard to argue with a 30% tax incentive on every dollar you spend there, especially when you're trying to, stretch your dollar to the maximum. The eagle fucking screams that we're stretching the dollars so tight, right? So, believe me, I'd love to sleep in my own bed. I love shooting in LA. I love not being in 110-degree heat and 100% humidity, dying. I would love to see that kind of thinking happening in California. I mean, my God, this is fundamentally the birthplace of the motion picture industry. We should. So write to Schwarzenegger. I want everybody here to write a letter to Arnold. Say, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? Tax incentives for filmmakers. I'd love it.
Great.
Can I just, real quick? Much respect, and
Promise
I worked in
you for a quick
LA.
break.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I mean,
Watch those.
our LA crew was absolutely brilliant, but I just have to say, because they're our family right now, our crew in Atlanta, they worked so hard. They're doing such great work.
Awesome. Your crew's
and they're such an honor
That's
to work
awesome.
with. And,
It's just the crews that here are starting.
I know. And
Again.
Hello guys. Number 2, I'm a zombie nerd, but number 1, I'm a mom. So therefore this is a little bit directed towards Mr. Kirkman. I'm a mom of 2 young boys, and I think I wrote an angry nerd letter that said, "Dear Mr. Kirkman, F you." I was very much upset by an issue, but then I realized that is what this comic is about. It's about evoking emotion. However, I know you guys are filming with real life people. How are you going to handle Carl? And what happens to him?
Frank?
Wait, spoiler.
Carl is animatronic.
Is that Frank Oz that's working on Carl?
Well, geez, we're not there yet. We'll handle it sensitively. I've been in that position where I don't want to traumatize the shit out of some child on a set. The great example is John Coffey holding the 2 little dead girls who've been raped and murdered, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. I had Greg build me 2 little dead girl bodies because I wasn't going to be the guy on the set going, "Okay, kids."
So Frank is the perfect guy for this project, obviously.
Well, why don't we do this? How about we spin the question a little bit so that we don't get too spoilerish? And I guess maybe better is, how far can you push the show on TV? How
This
far
thing's
can
going
you
to be
go?
chock full of dead children. Just watch it.
Okay, so that kind of was my question, but basically, like, with the gore that's in the show, have you gotten any backlash? Are you having any trouble? Because one of the most important parts of zombie film is gore, blood and guts, and so how are you guys handling that? And the makeup looks great, by the way, but I want to know about the blood.
Well, if you look at what, the material that AMC has on their programming, they don't pull their punches. And I can honestly say that we have yet to pull back on our syringes, so to speak. So we really haven't, we're dedicated to making this, as authentic as we can. So it's, we haven't, AMC has never said, guys, I don't know. They've been like, yeah, guys, come on, push it. You know, our network is known for pushing the envelope, and it's about storytelling, and it's about, you know, conflict, and, you know, once in a while somebody's going to get eaten. You know, I mean,
Also, just so you know, we had to cut back on this reel for you because this is a family convention. So no, come on, there's room for everybody. But this will just give you a taste of what you'll be seeing in the series.
Yeah, you know that shot with the scope comes up and the pins, the crosshairs pin the zombie in the scope. We don't cut away. There's a big George Romero splat of blood. We couldn't show it to you here because Comic-Con said no.
Comic-Con. I'm only joking.
Hi, my question is about the characters that we haven't seen yet. So will we be seeing Glenn and Dale and, of course, Michonne and Tyrese? Because we have a kick-ass woman with a samurai sword.
If you've been on our floor at all, you've seen the banners. So Glenn is very much on the banner. He's played by Stephen Yeun. He's an excellent actor. He actually looks almost exactly like Glenn from the comic, which is bizarre. Dale is played by Jeffrey DeMunn, so he's totally in there. And Michonne, soon, possibly?
I can't wait to get to Michonne. You know, it's this show is going to roll out at its pace, and so I'm thinking maybe sometime in the second season. But and Tyrese too. I can't wait to get to these characters. But I want to ask, because you guys are bonding with Dale as characters. I want Lori and Emma to comment on the wonder that is working with Jeffrey DeMunn, because I've done it with everything I've done. He's been in.
Well, I'm the luckiest girl in the world because, you know, Andrea and Dale. Is that a spoiler? Jeff DeMunn.
They've all read.
Jeff DeMunn is not only just an amazing actor, but I think there's a few of us that say that we want to be Jeff DeMunn when we grow up, because he is such an example of kindness and grace, and he's just so lovely. And I know, Frank, you've had him on every single film you've ever done, because just his presence on the set, it just, I don't know, sometimes we just look at him and it's like the sun shines brighter. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. Don't you think?
Yeah, Jeff is a lovely person. He's one of those people that just sort of sits there and is so calm and collected, even as the zombies are like running through. And so I give him this nickname. I call him Gandalf. I'm like, he's the Gandalf of The Walking Dead, because he just kind of like stands there really like stoically, and then he spouts these words of wisdom, and we're all like, wow, yeah. He's definitely our Gandalf. Yeah.
We love him.
Next question?
All right, I just want to thank everyone for making this show reality, first of all. But my question's for Frank and Gail. I saw the breakdown of who's directing and writing each episode of season 1, but since this show is already such a big kind of dream come true for the horror fan community, I was wondering if any thought was already given in the future seasons to reaching out to any kind of well-known horror directors or maybe up-and-coming ones? Yes? Okay.
No name. But you know, we all know who people would be who would get us all excited.
Yeah.
You know, to be invited if they could join us. And George who? George Lucas? No, not George Lucas. Sorry. Yeah, we are thinking along those lines. We all have friends whose work we admire greatly and indeed have been inspired by. So yeah, hell yes.
Thanks.
Hi, mine's a follow-up question for the previous one. Will you guys be on casting for new characters like Tyrese or the Governor?
It's too early for that. It's too early. We're still finishing the first season.
But we did have some actors come in to read for Morgan, by the way. There's one actor we haven't really mentioned here today, Lenny James. When you see this guy's performance in the pilot, he's remarkable. Andy and Lenny in the pilot. I'm so proud of what these guys did. He's a remarkable actor. We had a lot of other actors come in to read for this role. Lenny kind of owned the role from the get-go, but I saw a bunch of guys and I went, oh wow, he could be Tyrese. Oh, he could be Tyrese. There's like a backlog of Tyreses sitting at home in my drawer in LA.
So there's going to be 3 in the show.
They're triplets now. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Hi guys. I want to say thanks to Robert for making me a horrible junkie person, jerk, ruining my life. But my question is for Frank and Gail. Had it ever occurred to you, or was ever a thought to maybe shoot in black and white and this grayscale? Because it always seemed to have worked like in films like Schindler's List and all those great classics.
Well,
Joel wouldn't let us. No, I'm kidding.
one thing we did do, though, is we tested a number of cameras from the very beginning. And what we realized was best for The Walking Dead was actually Super 16. And I think all of you will be very happy that we made that choice.
Film grain, creamy, analog look. I love
it. You might be looking down the line, maybe the DVD might, if they let us down the line, you might.
We have floated the idea by Joel, the boss, to kind of do, at least with the pilot, what I did with The Mist on the DVD, which is retime it to a black and white version. And he was kind of digging the idea, so I think that we might be able to do it. It's a distinct possibility.
Would you guys like that? 2,000 fans can't be wrong.
We only have time for a couple more questions, guys, so we'll go to this next one.
I was just curious. The news that Bear is composing music for the show is just made my day, and I was curious as to if you've approached how the music is going to be incorporated. Is it going to be a big part? Is it going to be a lot of pop out scary just noises, or is it going to fill in more of the drama effect?
Bear, will you come up here? When we talk about music, he's probably going to be a lot smarter about it than I am. Thank you. The one thing that we're all desperate to not do is be obvious and do the obvious thing and do the expected thing, and that's why we asked Bear to join us, because he does something very unique and doesn't just clobber the audience with the thing you expect, and so that's why we're thrilled.
I think that the thing that always drew me to this story, and the reason I was a fan of the comics, is because it's a character drama that just happens to be set in the zombie apocalypse. And I think even from our earliest meetings, we were talking a lot about the character arcs and not so much about obvious horror cliches and the scares. And I think what you're going to hear is that I'm scoring it like a drama, but there are some times when you have to do the obvious thing every once in a while. But
you do it in a not obvious way.
Exactly.
And that's the composers I really love hearing or working with are the ones who can do that. Give the scene what it needs, but not make it sound like every other minor chord when the zombie face pops out.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen people online talking about what they think the music's going to be, and everyone's like, I think it should be this, I should do this, and I just go, not going to do that, not going to do that, not going to do that. It's just like a checklist. I think you guys are going to really dig what we're coming up with. It's going to be a really beautiful sound, and not at all the kind of sound you've heard associated with zombie stories in the past. So you guys will enjoy it. Awesome.
This is our last question, so we're going to wrap it up.
Hello. I've been a fan since the beginning, and going back to what a previous question about Carl, he's my favorite character out of the book other than Michonne. How are you guys going to handle what happens between Carl, Shane, and Rick when Carl finds out exactly what Shane is doing?
You may have to watch the show.
All right.
Yeah, I'll promise you that we're definitely following Kirkman's path of things. Absolutely. It may take us a while to get there because we really like John Bernthal. And we really like working with him. We want to keep him around for a while.
I gotta say, the kid that they have playing Carl, this kid's another level. I mean, if John had half of his maturity, there would be a totally other dynamic. Chandler Riggs, huge love to Chandler Riggs. I mean, I love this kid. I absolutely love this kid. And he will deliver everything you need. I mean, the quick Chandler story is there was a scene where he was in the camper and some things were going on outside of the camper that were affecting him. The camera never shot anything in the camper. Every time I went into that camper, this kid was in tears because his character would have been so affected by what was going on outside that that's what would have happened. It's never on film, you'll never see it, but that was the performance he chose to deliver to me at the end of the scene. This kid is amazing, and if he's your favorite character, Chandler Riggs is about to become your new favorite actor.
All right, thank you.